Admiral Zekthara's mandibles clicked in amusement as he surveyed the blue-green world rotating slowly beneath his flagship. Earth, the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star, home to a species that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 decades ago. The Galactic Confederation had been watching these humans with mild interest, noting their crude fusion drives and primitive weapon systems. "Admiral," his tactical officer reported, "we've been broadcasting our demands for 47 hours. No response from the planetary surface." Zekthara's 4 eyes gleamed. The Confederation's ultimatum had been simple: surrender their planet's rare Earth deposits and submit to annexation, or face the consequences. His armada of 1,200 warships represented the largest military force ever assembled in this sector. Each vessel was a masterwork of Xyrillian engineering, armed with plasma cannons that could crack continents and shields powered by quantum cores. "Typical primitive behavior," sneered Commander Vorth from the communications station. "They're probably cowering in their underground bunkers, hoping we'll simply leave." The bridge erupted in chittering laughter. Several junior officers began taking bets on how long the humans would last once the bombardment began. The consensus was less than 6 hours. "Sir," the sensor operator's voice cut through the merriment, "I'm detecting some unusual readings from the outer system." Zekthara waved a dismissive claw. "Asteroid impacts, solar flares. These primitive systems are full of cosmic debris." But the readings persisted, then grew stronger. "Admiral," the sensor operator's voice had risen an octave, "I'm showing massive gravitational distortions near the heliopause. Multiple contacts emerging from... I don't understand these readings." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying the outer reaches of the Sol system. At first, nothing seemed amiss, just the usual scatter of distant planets and cosmic dust. Then space itself began to ripple. The first ship materialized like a phantom emerging from a dimensional fold. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of Zekthara's flagship, and its hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange geometric patterns pulsed along its surface with an eerie blue luminescence. "One human vessel," Vorth scoffed. "Even if it's large, what can a single—" The words died in his throat as dozens more ships began materializing, then hundreds, then thousands. They emerged not from hyperspace or subspace, but from dimensions the Confederation's greatest scientists couldn't even theorize about. Each vessel was unique in design, yet unmistakably part of a unified fleet. Some bristled with weapon arrays that defied conventional physics. Others seemed to bend reality around them, their very presence causing spacetime to shimmer like heat waves. "How many?" Zekthara whispered. "Still counting, sir. Current estimate, over 50,000 vessels and rising." The bridge fell, silent except for the hum of life support systems. 50,000 ships. The entire Confederation Navy numbered barely 30,000 vessels spread across 100 star systems. "Sir!" Communications crackled to life. "We're receiving a transmission from the human fleet." A hologram materialized in the center of the bridge, a human female in a crisp military uniform. Her expression was calm, almost serene, but her eyes held the cold fire of distant stars. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Coalition," she said, her voice carrying easily across the bridge. "You have threatened our world. You have demanded our surrender. You have made a fundamental error in judgment." Zekthara found his voice. "This is impossible. Our intelligence reports show your species has barely achieved interstellar flight. These ships, this technology..." Admiral Chen smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. "Your intelligence is 30 years out of date. While you've been conquering primitive worlds and expanding your territory, we've been busy. Did you really think a species that split the atom before leaving their own planet would remain static?" The view screen shifted to show the human fleet in formation. Weapons that shouldn't exist hummed with barely contained energy. Ships that violated every known law of physics hung in space like sleeping predators. 30 years ago, we were limited to fusion drives and chemical rockets," Chen continued. "Today, we've mastered dimensional warfare, quantum artillery, and something your Confederation has never achieved: temporal engineering. Half of my fleet exists 3 seconds ahead of your present moment. The other half operates in a parallel probability cascade. You're bluffing, Zagathara snarled, but his voice lacked conviction. Am I? Chen's smile widened. Admiral, every species the Confederation has encountered has evolved along predictable paths, agricultural civilizations that developed slowly and methodically. You assume technological progress follows linear patterns. Humans are different. We don't just solve problems, we become obsessed with them. We don't just improve technology, we revolutionize it. While your people took 10,000 years to develop interstellar flight, we went from our first powered aircraft to faster-than-light travel in less than a century. She paused, letting the implications sink in. When you threatened Earth, you didn't just threaten our homeworld. You threatened our children, our future, our very existence. You awakened something in humanity that has been dormant since we climbed down from the trees, the absolute refusal to bow to predators. The human fleet began moving forward, their formation precise despite impossible numbers. Weapon systems powered up, causing detector arrays across the Confederation Armada to shriek warnings. You have one choice, Admiral Chen said quietly. Leave. Now. Return to your Confederation and tell them that Earth is under human protection. Tell them that this species they dismissed as primitive has become something they cannot comprehend, cannot defeat, and should never provoke again. Zagathara stared at the advancing fleet, his tactical mind running desperate calculations. Even if only half the human ships were real, his armada would be obliterated within minutes. But the reading suggested every single vessel was not just real, but armed with technology centuries beyond Confederation standards. Sir, his tactical officer whispered. Orders? The Admiral looked one last time at the blue-green world below, then at the human fleet that had materialized from impossible dimensions. His people had ruled the galaxy for millennia through careful calculation and overwhelming force. But they had never encountered a species that treated impossibility as merely another engineering challenge. Full retreat, he ordered. Maximum speed. As the Confederation Armada fled into hyperspace, Admiral Chen watched from her flagship's bridge. Around her, holographic displays showed similar scenes playing out across a dozen star systems where human colonies had been threatened. Ma'am, her communications officer reported, the Confederation fleet has withdrawn from all human territories. Chen nodded. Good. Send a message to Earth Command. Operation Silent Thunder was a complete success. The galaxy now understands that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. What is it then, Admiral? She smiled as the dimensional fleet began folding back into parallel space, leaving only the appearance of an empty system protecting a supposedly defenseless world. Our refusal to accept that anything is impossible.